Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. It's Friday, the weekend is here, and that means we are just around the corner from the Carabao Cup final, where Newcastle United will take on Manchester United this Sunday, 4:30 kickoff at Wembley. I am heading down to London first thing tomorrow, and I'm hoping to do plenty of videos while I'm down there as well. The build-up this week has been incredible, and it's great to jump on today to do the full preview of the game. As always, we will talk about Newcastle, what we hope to see from us. Obviously, there's no Nick Pope, but there will be a Karius in goal, and there will be a Bruno in the middle. A big question mark for Manchester United: will there be a Rashford? He has sent some cryptic messages on Instagram as to whether he could potentially be injured. Ten Hag actually gave a pre-match chat today, so we'll talk about what he said. We've had loads from Eddie Howe and some of the players this week, so I want to talk a little bit about that, and then we will get into the lineups and my prediction for the final at the end of the video as well. So be sure to let me know your thoughts on the lineups and your prediction down below. And if you are watching this video and you haven't subscribed, please do hit that big red button. As I've said, I'll be going down to Wembley first thing tomorrow. I'll be in Trafalgar Square tomorrow night. I'll be at the final on Sunday. Loads of content to come over the weekend, so be sure you don't miss out. We'll start off with Newcastle, and some big news coming out this morning is that Miguel Almiron has signed a new 3.5-year deal with the club. Just 2 days ahead of our big Wembley final, he has put pen to paper on a new deal. Big up Miggy. He has been very, very good this season so far. I think it is deserved. You know, he's taken his time over the last few years to really get cracking, but like many players underneath Eddie Howe, has really shown what he can do. And I'm praying that this weekend against Manchester United, Miggy can have one of them great games. We've seen him scoring goals freely throughout this season. Of late, it has dipped a little bit. I don't know if it's confidence or maybe it's because he's been playing without Bruno. You know, the last 3 games have been tough for us. But with Bruno back, it's not just the fact that Bruno's back, it's the fact that he will elevate so many players around him. You talk about maybe Miggy being a little bit quiet, maybe Wilson being a little bit quiet. You know, I don't want to put all the pressure on Bruno, but not only do we need him to play amazingly, we also need him to make everybody else play amazingly as well. You know, we've had such a great season, but of late, you know, our form hasn't been quite as good. I mean, we only lost twice in the Premier League this season, and one of those was in the last game. Previous to that, a couple of draws. We're playing well, but to go to a cup final, just need to elevate it. And you talk about the key players in our side. You know, Trippier, I think it's had a couple of poor games. We need him to perform. We need Bruno to come in, perform. We need Miggy to get those shots in like he was doing earlier in the season. We need Wilson to step up and have a good game as well. So we need everybody on fine form, and hopefully, you know, we can come home with a cup. But it won't be easy taking on a Manchester United side. And as we talk about form, they're not doing too bad, are they? Possibly one of the most informed teams in the country right now. And a lot of that is down to the man Rashford, who has been playing exceptionally well for them at the moment. However, could he miss the game? Well, Rashford posted on his Instagram a picture of him coming off the pitch. Obviously, he took a knock in the game, but he did continue to play on. You know, he didn't go straight down the tunnel. He did go and sit on the bench. So you're trying to analyse like how serious the injury is. Ten Hag has said that he doesn't know. If I had to bet, who knows, maybe Rashford's mate's got a bet on as well. Rashford's mate's got a bet on him starting in the game. So he's going, you don't mind just putting a bit of doubt in the minds, will you? Because I would suggest that he plays. You know, it's a cup final and he's been their best player. You know, whether it takes, you know, an injection or something to get him going, I think he will play in this game. So he's certainly one to watch out for. You talk about someone like Anthony, who has taken a bit of time to try and bet in, but he's got some electric pace down that right-hand side against Dan Burn. You know, he's going to have to be on fine form as well. And there's a Casemiro in the middle has been a big part of that, I would say, resurgence under Ten Hag, bringing him in, really shoring up that midfield. Casemiro versus Bruno, I think will be quite a crucial battle. Really what we need to happen is for Joe Linton to kick Casemiro all over while Bruno runs away with the football is the ideal of what's going to happen. But I think the pair of them two clashing will be big. I think Casemiro runs a lot for them in the middle, and we know, as I've mentioned at the start of this video, Bruno is quite key, I think, for me, to us having a good game. And don't get me wrong, the likes of Sean Longstaff have been in fantastic form. I think Joe Linton's been playing some great football as well. I think Botman is brilliant at the back for us, but just so much moves through that middle. The good thing is that Bruno's had a bit of time off, and now he's coming back fresh and no doubt desperate to get involved in making an impression in this final. As he said in a recent interview, when joining the club, he wanted to write history, and that's what he's hoping to do this Sunday. It'll be interesting to see how Newcastle approach this game. We know that one thing we've done very well this season under Eddie Howe is press high, defend from the front, and one thing Manchester United do is try and play out from the back. We actually saw it last night against Barcelona a couple of times where they actually get caught out and had De Gea have to make a save because they've tried to play it out from the back. It didn't work. It seems to be a thing happening at the moment. We've seen it with Alisson at Liverpool playing out from the back, conceding goals. And something that we can try and take advantage of here. Wembley is a big pitch, and Dan Burn actually spoke about this in his interview. He was like, we have a lot of players in that side who haven't played at Wembley before, and that if we really try and bust a gut too early, could we lose a little bit of energy in the tank for later on. So I think it will be interesting for Eddie Howe to manage it, but there's still things there that we can really get at, and I think one of those is to try and put them under pressure, nick the ball off them. We've seen it so many times early in games where we've put the pressure on quick and we've scored quick. I would like to see us do that in this game. And Eddie Howe has said, we're not going down there to take part, we're going down there to win. And obviously, all Newcastle fans want to see us win a trophy for the first time in a long time. But, and I thought I'd throw this in here, it is still such a big step for the club to be reaching a final. I think you talk about players currently in the club right now. St James's Park's amazing. Wolf Flags is amazing. The crowd is amazing. And getting to finals and showing the players like Bruno who's coming in, or even players that we're hoping to target in the summer. By the way, you do know that we got to a final. It would be even better if we said, by the way, you do know we won a cup. Because that's the thing for footballers. The big players want to win trophies. And look, the owners haven't come in and gone, right, let's just win the League Cup and then bog off. This is step one. And regardless of what happens this weekend, it isn't we want to win. We want to celebrate it. We want to enjoy it. We want to get the monkey off our back for not winning a cup in so long. But it's the start. For me, we're years ahead of what the plan is for these owners. And if we can go out there and do it this weekend, it's huge. But if we don't, it's all part of that curve that we are going upwards. We've seen it in the last year and a half, and it will keep going that way. So although I'm sitting here nervous already for the game, if it doesn't work out the way we want, that's the way we're going. So let me know your thoughts on the game. If we'll get onto lineups now, I've thought about this a fair bit, and I'm really unsure of what we're going to go with. I think what I would probably go with could well be different to Eddie Howe. I think, we'll put my lineup on screen now. I've gone Maxi. I have done it, but it's not necessarily what I think Eddie Howe will go with. Karius is in net. We all know that there's no big Nick Pope. I've spoken about big players, the spine of our side. Nick Pope is that, and to not have him is a big loss. Look, I'm on the Karius redemption arc hype as well, and I'm praying that overnight he will become a cult hero, having played one game for us. But it'll be tough. Right back Trippier, I think been off the boil recently. I think the couple of goals against Liverpool were really poor. Him as the captain and as the man who, who's been there, done that, been in big games before, winning sides, he's got to be there for us this weekend. Shaw got to be on form. Botman's been great, but he's still a young lad. It's a big occasion for him as well. You need the likes of Trippier to grab hold of him and talk him through the game. Dan Burn at left back. I think he got very emotional since the semi-final, and that's something we need to keep under wraps in this game. It's brilliant to have local lads like him and Sean Longstaff in the side. They were playing against each other in League One 5-6 years ago. Like, it's huge and it's big. They've got to keep the lid on it and play well. In the middle, I have gone with, for me, what is probably our best three in-form midfielders right now, and Longstaff, who's been brilliant, Joe Linton, the powerhouse, and it's got to be Bruno. There was a big question mark of whether Willock will be back. And I'd actually said that despite Willock's injury, that Eddie Howe would bring him back and put Joe Linton on the left. I actually... I wouldn't be surprised either way. I've gone for Maxi because, whether you like it or not, Maxi's a big game player. And I wish it was the case where he did it every game. I wish he didn't have to just do it when he needed a new contract extension. And that's not a dig at Maxi, it's just sometimes he's up and down. But I think in that Liverpool game, he's the best we've seen in a while. And in a big game cup final where we are going to need that bit of pace down the wings, we've got tall players, we've got big players, we've got battering rams. We haven't got that many quick players. We haven't got really any pace along the back line. Botman's quick enough. In the middle, Bruno, Joey and Sean aren't the quickest. Wilson hasn't got the most pace. We need, I think, potentially some pace in that side for, depending on how the game goes, a bit of a counter option as well. You know what? It wasn't Maxi who got us to the final, though. It was Joe Linton on the left. It was Willock in the middle. And if Eddie Howe wants to reward the side that got us to the final, it wouldn't surprise me if that's what he went for. But that's not what I've picked. You let me know your thoughts on the lineups. I think it's a real question mark on that, and whatever Eddie goes with, I'll back him. Really, it's whether it's whether Willock's fit. If Willock's fully firing, I think he could go back to what was working before he was forced to kind of change it. Miggy on the right. We've given him a new contract. Let's just pray for the next 3.5 years we get the Miggy who's scoring 10 goals a season. Because if it is, it's fantastic. We need to keep it up. Let's hope that contract puts him in a good mood for this final. And then I have gone for Wilson up front as well over Isak. I was screaming for Isak to get a game when Wilson wasn't playing great. Isak was coming on off the bench. Brilliant. We started him for a few games, and he wasn't quite the same. Now, is that because we didn't have Bruno on the pitch? Possibly. Probably more likely than not. Let Wilson run his socks off for 60, 70 minutes, try and get a goal, and if not, Isak fresh legs on for the last 20, 30 minutes. So that's my lineup. As I've said, depending on what happens with Willock, it could well not be Eddie Howe's lineup, but you let me know your thoughts down below. Now, in terms of a prediction, if you watched me on a couple of live streams this week, I've stuck with the same prediction all week. And to be honest, I could change it every day. I could change it every 20, 30 minutes, to be honest. And I'll probably change it again before the final. But I'm trying to stick with one prediction and keeping it as that. And I've backed Newcastle. I've gone 1-0. I've gone 1-0 Newcastle. I think it'll be tough. I think it'll be a very, very big battle of a game. I don't necessarily see it being end-to-end shots galore. I think one thing we've done well this season, and even though we haven't had Nick Pope and we have conceded a few goals recently, is we've defended well. And I think that's very, very key to us this weekend. I think Manchester United are in good form. They're scoring goals. Scored 2 against Barcelona yesterday. They'll be flying this weekend, and I think the big thing for us is to keep them out. To add to that, we haven't been scoring a lot of goals, so I think our best chance probably is to have a low scoreline you know, 1-0 up with 20 minutes to go, and we'll just lump the ball out for the rest of the game. But I won't care, because it means we'll take home a cup. Let me know your thoughts ahead of the final down below. It's been a long video. It is a final. Lots to talk about. If you're still watching now and you haven't hit the big red button, please do. As I've said, lots of content this weekend. A lot of excitement. Hopefully plenty of fan videos in King's Cross at Trafalgar Square. It's going to be good, and hopefully you'll get a video of me smiling on Sunday night as well. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always. Enjoy the weekend regardless of what you're doing for the game. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later.